Hey everyone, welcome back to 1000 Lies. We're going to pick up right where we left off, right at the end of the sled desk races, which was all the rage. If I would have done that in high school, we would have been in big trouble. But anyway, we're just going to hop right in. But before we do, don't forget to subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on more awesome content and future episodes of this. So let's just get right in. I'm at the nurse's office. Rather than leaving the school through the main entrance, I prefer going out from here instead. It isn't like there's a real nurse here though, so the attendant is actually the groundskeeper. She handles a lot of different tasks, from paperwork to carrying all of the keys. Let me just turn this down. If you persuade her that you're sick enough, you can take a nap here for a while and sneak out after she leaves. Since she handles so many different things, she won't usually notice if you're gone by the time she comes back. In any case, she doesn't trust anyone, so the nurse's office collects dust more than anything. Then, how'd I convince her to let me stay? Easy. I told her the truth. My right leg aches badly, so he did hurt himself during the sled desk races. I sit on one of the beds and massage my leg from the knee down, hoping it lessens the pain. Afterwards, I take out a small bottle of painkillers and stare at it as it sits in the palm of my hand. I decide against opening it and put it back in my pocket. I lay on the bed and close my eyes before I start taking deep breaths until I eventually feel myself get lost deep in thought. The new substitute must be pissed. She may not even have seen us do it, but it's just a matter of time until she figures it out. Nobody got hurt, but even I recognize that we went overboard. If yesterday's prank made her angry, I can't imagine how she took this one. I wonder, will they finally punish me this time? After 15 minutes, I feel better. I get up and walk over to the window. The nurse's office is on the first floor, so I can climb down into the track field, making it a perfect place to sneak out. I haven't made a habit of it, but this won't be the first time that I escape out this window when I want to play hooky. Let's see. Although it's a small fall, my leg still hurts. Thankfully, it's tolerable, but that doesn't change how uncomfortable feeling it is. I'll rest more once I'm home. Better get going. There's a fence behind the school that separates it from the park. No one goes back there, and the fence has a locked gate that's easy to pick if you're skilled enough. Once you're in the field, the park is only several steps away. Now, this is the same park where we met the lolly. I make my way through the park and to the pond and begin writing in my notebook. It's not like I have anything better to do, but you'd think by now I would have learned how dangerous it is to walk around with my face stuffed in a book. What was that? Sounded like a smack. Suddenly something hits me in the stomach. Thankfully it doesn't hurt. At first I don't see anything, but when I look down I find the culprit. Ran straight into the lolly. That hurts. At my feet there's a girl with her hands wrapped around her head. At first I think it's because she ran into me, but then she starts to panic for her seemingly other reason. Her hat's gone. She keeps swatting at the air around her head, and then she realizes that there's nothing there and goes pale. My hat! She gets visibly nervous, her eyes darting around the area. After a moment, she settles on looking at my shoes, or more precisely, what's behind them, none other than her previously missing hat. I bend over to pick it up, brushing the dirt off as best as I can before handing it back to her. This is yours, right? The girl nods in relief as she reaches out her hand and retrieves her possession. At the last second, I raise my arms and pull the hat out of her reach. That's so rude. Short people hate that, just so you know. It seems familiar somehow. Her name is on the tip of my tongue, but nothing comes to mind. I'm positive I've met her before. How could he not remember her? That had to have been like such an embarrassing moment when you're sitting there in the park talking to yourself and she's sitting right next to you. Like, how could you not remember her? I bring the hat closer to her, watching as her face lights up with happiness. But I still can't remember who she is. One more time. I move the hat out of her reach and watch her as she automatically grows anxious. I could do this all day. Finally, I relent and return her belonging. I know better than to tease little girls too much. She gets up and inspects her hat, desperately placing it back atop her head as if her life depends on it. She looks so happy. Some people are so easily satisfied. But I still haven't figured out how I know her. Maybe taking a closer look will help. She responds doubtfully, staring me down as she slowly takes 2 steps toward me. Eventually, we're only inches apart. I still can't remember her. It's like I know her, but I can't put a name to the face. Suddenly, she surprises me and breaks the silence with a question. Are you going to keep staring like that, or kiss me already? Alrighty! Well, that escalated. I suddenly break the Guinness World Record for backflips, barely managing to stutter anything in response. Kiss you? I wasn't going to. Oh, so it was a staring contest? I won, right? Where's my reward? Once she shows me her radiant smile, I remember who she is, that nutcase from yesterday. That's so rude. I think part of me tried to block that event out of my memory, understandably so. However, I have to admit that I'm pretty curious to know what her deal is. Our encounter yesterday was so random and weird that I can't help but feel curious. There's no reward. It wasn't a contest in the first place. I just couldn't remember who you were. Mysterious girl Y? Why not X? Mysterious girl Y? X is already taken. It's a long story. Oh, Mysterious Girl X is the artist, duh. Look, it doesn't matter. It was just a misunderstanding. Let's start over from the beginning. Who are you and what's your name? My name is Claire Argris. I'm 18-year-old. My blood type is B. I'm 4'9" and I weigh 97 pounds. My measurements are 25, 20, 27, and my favorite color is silver. Okay, silver is not a typical color to have as a favorite color, for one. 4'9" is pretty damn short for an adult, and we're definitely in the lolly game, but she's legal, so we'll see where this goes. And my favorite periodic table element is tungsten. I don't think I have a favorite. Nope, don't think I have a favorite. Oh, good choice. Tungsten's my favorite metal. No, wait a second. Don't mess with me. What kind of introduction was that? You said you're 18. Are we in the same grade? I thought you were a kid. How would I know? You haven't introduced yourself yet. What kind of gentleman refuses to introduce himself to a lady before conversing with her? I totally understand that you're nervous after failing to kiss me, but you have to get over it. Believe in yourself. Second time's the charm. I wonder if she's doing that on purpose or if she's really insane. In the end, I decided to introduce myself, pushing aside her weird attempts at cheering me up. Without getting into too much detail, I explain what I'm doing here so I can resolve the misunderstanding, if there ever was a misunderstanding in the first place. I know that I shouldn't just go with the flow, but I think that it's probably harmless to observe this odd specimen. After I introduce myself, I try to learn more about her. She responds quickly and clearly, and then I ask about her studies. She tells me that she's currently studying at the other side, and at Nate Institute. That explains how I didn't know her when we were in the same grade, and there are only 2 schools in the area. When I ask her what she's doing at the park, however, her attitude changes dramatically. She has to be the person that's emailing me. I wanted to skip school, so that's what I did. Nothing else to it. So you're a troublemaker. I see. It suits you. You already have the issues for it. Maybe, but I have my own reasons for it, too. The tenderness in her words, even after I mocked her, surprises me. It's really the same girl from a minute ago? What reasons are those? I already told you the truth because I wanted to. But you won't believe me, right? The most logical reason would be that I felt too stressed out, controlled, and pressured, and that's why I ran away. Those types of things could easily lead me to this. Would that satisfy you? That's why I came here, but it's a conclusion you're going to arrive at anyway, so I don't need to give you any more details. Hold on. If you don't want to answer, then you don't have to. No need to take it so seriously. Everyone has the right to keep their secrets. Is that so? It's obvious that Claire doesn't believe me. What's wrong with her? I don't understand. It's a lot easier when you have a convenient excuse. For example, when someone invites you out but you don't want to go, you tell them you have to work, take a test, or go on a date with your sweetheart, and then you get rid of the issue in the blink of an eye. Speak of the devil. Tell me, Saran. Claire takes a deep breath and closes her eyes for a second before casually asking me an unexpected question. Do you want to go out with me? What? I said what without reading that. He actually said that. Be my boyfriend. Be my partner, my better half. It wasn't a difficult question. It is when you just met someone. Is this the second time she's thrown an inconceivable question at me? What kind of joke is this? We haven't even known each other 5 minutes before she confesses to me. She seems to be completely serious right now. Her face says that she's not messing around. She sincerely confessed to me. I believe her so much that it's scaring me. I hesitate, stuttering while I try to answer. I have a difficult time looking at her in the eye. I'm so nervous and frightened. Claire then places her index finger against my lips, silently telling me to stop. You took too long to answer, and that's no good. A half-baked answer won't do for me. She's so aggressive. After all, the most important thing is that you're truthful. I swallowed deeply while lost in thought, questioning how difficult it is to decipher her words, or rather her. Claire seems to notice my uncertainty, or maybe it's curiosity. She turns and begins pacing with her hands behind her back. It looks like she's looking for or thinking about something. With a smile on her face, she finally announces her thoughts. I know, let's play a game as an example. It's pretty simple, so you'll be able to understand what I was trying to say. Claire's in high spirits, more like she was at the beginning of our conversation. I shrug. It isn't like I have anything to say about it anyway. Imagine on top of that tree over there's a nest with baby birds, and waiting on top of that rock next to it is a hungry cat. So is she the hungry cat? Is she thirsty? Let's call him Saniza. Saniza? Why Saniza? I don't know, it's cute, don't you like it? Why aren't you naming the birds, too? Giving names to imaginary birds? Are you totally insane? I forgot who I was talking to for a second. Please, just get on with it before I decide to drown someone in the pond. There isn't much else to say. The question is simple. What do you do? It's a pretty unimaginative question, eh? It's pretty typical. You know, if you scare the cat away and save the chicks, then the cat will die of hunger. If you help the cat, then the birds will die. In the end, you have to choose who dies and who lives. Most people would just let nature take its course, since you can't have everything work out perfectly all the time. Or you can take the cat home and feed it and everybody wins. Just saying. The circle of life, Simba and stuff. That's the problem though. Aren't you a part of nature too? It's easy to forget that it's convenient for you. If I choose to take the cat with me, then I'd have to do it for everyone, so it's not viable. I can't involve myself anyway because maybe the cat prefers to live that way. Those are the excuses we make so that we can benefit the most in the end to make our lives easier. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're only humans, and the times when even our selfish decision is the best one too. But you can't accept what comes afterwards. What comes after? That's why I don't plan on explaining myself to you any further, and why I don't accept the half-baked love confession from anyone. Get it? Next time, try to do a better job, alright? Next time? She's pretty confident. For some reason, it seems to make sense to Claire, but I'm not convinced. I don't know what the hell she just tried to explain to me. Some say it's impossible to understand women. This lady wins first place hands down as the most complicated. Oh, I gotta go. I forgot my bag in the classroom, and if I don't go back before the next class starts, I might lose it. Why didn't you bring it with you? That's what I did. I also switched desks with another guy so it wouldn't look like I'd left. He isn't guilty of anything, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do to survive. Isn't that what you just tried to tell me? What are you even talking about? My criminal record. Nothing you should pay attention to. To be completely honest with you, I just wanted to get the last word in after your weird tirade. Don't worry about it. Not everything in the world makes sense. We're already ninja accomplices. Our bond is thicker than blood. You don't have to hide anything from me, comrade. I don't think anybody has gone to jail for skipping class, but if they do go after us, I plan on blaming it all on you. Boo, you were so nice to me the other day, and now you're acting like this? What a letdown. Saran minus 50 affection. Don't give up, though. I know you better than that. Believe in yourself for me. Alright, until next time. Ending her conversation with words of encouragement, Claire starts to walk away. She turns around and enthusiastically waves at me after every couple of steps. So enthusiastic for a goodbye. And I had only lost 50 affection. Now that I think about it, she said weird things to me last time too. I may not know what goes on in her head, but I know one thing for sure. For better or worse, it probably won't be the last time I cross paths with her. Come on, you knew this would happen. You gave us your word. You have to do it. It'll be a lot of fun. Be positive. Besides, with such a long face, you'll get stuck in all of the doorways. You don't want to get hurt, right? You could at least say something. You're too quiet. What's on your mind? I'm trying to think of a good place to hide a body. You only have yourself to blame, so stop moving around. As if we're on a crime show, Ziva came to my house to arrest me with her brought a warrant in the form of a promise. I promised that I'd follow up on the email if I lost the sled desk race, which brings us to now. I find myself trekking along the sports center, unsure of what to do. Ziva's accompanying me, but Aussie couldn't make it for some reason. The point of all this was clearly just to ruin my afternoon. Still, it was a gambling addiction that did me in. After all this, you haven't asked. Aren't you going to ask me what happened after you ditched class? Not really. Everyone imagined that all the tables grew sentient and started to run away. A 3-day suspension for both you and Aussie. You're kidding me. Yes, hee hee. Don't joke around about that stuff, woman. I pulled some strings to find out what the teachers were talking about, and there was a bit of everything. Nevertheless, I, the girl who owes you nothing and never asked for anything in return, came to your rescue and brought the teachers back to their senses. They rescinded my suspension after you spoke to them? I don't believe you. Well, about that. What happened? Hey, don't look away. What are you trying to say? They agreed to go easier on you, but I had to barter with them. An insignificant detail, really. I don't like the sound of that. Go on. They said you guys have to learn a lesson, improve your judgment, blah, 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 you know? So it turns out that they desperately needed students to help them with Aussie, and you are now officially the grad committee. You two have to help prepare the grad events. Stuff like that. Wait a second. I see a car going fast enough to kill me. If I jump in front of it, I'll be right back. Don't joke about that kind of thing. Jeez. We're all going to graduate soon, and it's completely normal for a student committee to handle grad event prep. You're going to work together with some students from the other side. Both schools have representatives, and together the joint committee has a plan to organize all the events. Okay, I see where this is going. Me and Claire are going to be on the committee, one from each school. I see it. I see it happening. Nobody from our school volunteered this year, so they decided that it was a convenient punishment. Like the good friend that I am, I said I'd join too, so all 3 of us will be working together. What do you think? Call an ambulance, but tell them not to bring any defibrillators. Let them know that they can release my ashes over the ocean. Come on, stop joking around. It'll be fun. All we need to do is figure out what needs to be done for the events. Plus, each year is more or less the same. But I have to make an effort. It's work outside school hours. I'll need to actually communicate with other human beings, you know? Humans! Are you implying that I'm inhuman? Obviously. You didn't care about getting expelled, but you're worried about having to work. You're such a lazy ass. It reminds me of someone else. Look, being on the graduation committee is going to be tedious. Some students will want one thing and others will want the opposite. You have to try to please everyone, and it's too difficult. If there are no alternatives, then I guess I'll have to do it. I'd just rather change the subject for now. Yes, change the subject, I see. You know what? I've realized something. I already told you if I have to join the stupid committee, then I'll... No, listen, I'm talking about you. I realized that maybe what you're suffering from is schizoid personality disorder. Oh, so we're going to get into another one of these rants. Are you making up diagnoses again? I told you to stop looking at mental illnesses on Wikipedia. You wanted to change the subject, didn't you? Here you go. You don't enjoy socializing. You're detached on a personal level, and your sense of humor is unsympathetic. At first, I thought your writing obsession was a symptom of autism, but you don't have that. You don't seem to have any issues communicating with other people. However, it would make sense if you were a secret schizoid, since you're able to fake social interactions. Also, some schizoids share symptoms with those afflicted with Asperger's. It would make a lot of sense. Are you telling me that I'm autistic? Do you want to fight me or something? Just because I'm different doesn't mean I'm crazy. Correct, you aren't crazy. A lot of psychologists agree that schizoids don't actually suffer from a disorder, but their behavior is part of their personality. Just because someone acts different doesn't mean that they're suddenly an alien. There are a lot of circumstances in which regular people can end up going crazy purely from the power of suggestion. The best way to prevent that is to be confident. There's nothing wrong with acting differently from others or making a mistake. Ziva seems pleased with her evaluation. I can only respond in low spirits, but I still have to admit that she's dedicated. That's why you're going to give me your notebook so that I can study it. We have to get to the heart of the matter. For the rest of the walk to the sports center, Ziva tries to steal my notebook by shoving her hands in my pockets. That's so evasive. From the outside, the situation undoubtedly looks like Ziva's trying to tear my pants off. It doesn't help that she yells, "Come on, show it to me," and it'll only be for a moment, let me see it. But it isn't as wonderful as it appears. To be honest, I wouldn't even wish this on my worst enemy. Oh wait, Ziva is my worst enemy. In that case, I do wish it. She's so needy. A few minutes later, I stand waiting near one of the basketball courts at the center. It's actually one of those multi-sport courts that provides equipment for an array of different sports. At the moment, only a basketball team is training in the center, so I'm left to assume that they're the it and that I'm supposed to join. I speak to the coach, who's now under the impression that today is I'm observing to decide whether or not I want to join the team. Apparently, they have to pay to train here, and it's crazy. Ziva gives me a pat on the back and a quick wink before she sits on the bench and plays with her phone. Even though she had insisted on coming with me, she ran away so quickly I don't think I'll ever understand her. Hey you, new guy, you're Saran, right? One of the team members approaches me before they begin training. Even though he looks up to the task by himself, he asks if I can help him prepare the court. I assume this is what they usually do to try help integrate new members. Maybe I should do the same and try to break the ice. Huh? You play basketball with balls? I thought you hit a scale with a bat to watch as a plate soars upward based on how hard you hit it. My new teammate is speechless. He looks pretty bewildered. Ha ha ha. Come on, don't give me that. I was kidding. Everybody knows that's actually soccer. Training has only just started, and I'm pretty sure that my lungs have already begun to collapse. My first impression of basketball is that it's contradictory. Why do they need so many strong, tall men when they can't make contact with each other? The most they allow is a bit of brushing. You can't so much poke them. It's not like they're made of glass. I could even accept that rule if it didn't make defending so hard to do. If an opposing team's player has the ball and touches you, you get a foul unless you are standing still. But if you're standing still, then you can't defend your hoop. Isn't that unfair? It doesn't help that I'm bad at offense, and therefore the only thing I can do is defend. I'm new, so cut me some slack here. After an hour of training, I feel like death itself is looming over me. I would probably feel the same way. Now I'm hobbling around and using secret skill I developed that makes it look like I'm doing something when I'm really not. It's a technique that you can only master once you become a civil servant or a politician. I'm so very proud of it. Fortunately, the coach collapsed to get our attention and asked all of us together in the middle of the court. Thankfully, it means I can take a rest. Alright guys, this next round we're going to play a friendly match. Another match? This coach is trying to kill me. Shoot, coward, you are only going to kill a man. I organized it in a rush, but since every year we always play against... Oh, they're already here. Our coach looks past us and all of us instinctively follow his gaze. Another basketball team casually chats amongst themselves as they enter the court. There's one opposing team member in particular that stands out, at least to me. Don't let them win just because they're girls, okay? I know it's an easy match, but don't start flirting mid-game. Okay, so we're playing a girls' team, I'm assuming, and one of them is Claire. The players of the women's basketball team walk over to our team and begin chatting. One of them refuses to join in, and she's standing in front of me. Her face shows restraint, and her eyes are motionless, wrapped in turmoil. Okay, I take that back. The girl on the basketball team wouldn't be Claire. She's way too short for basketball. She's going to be on the grad council. The artist is going to be the one that's on the basketball team. Yep. It's Mysterious Girl X. I think I would have preferred getting shot after all. Our coach stands in the middle of the court and confirms that both teams are ready, and then with a nod signals us to start. The tallest player from each team meets in the center of the court. At the whistle signal, the ball is released, both players try to grab it. We all know what basketball is. Everyone feels the tension. It's all for a bloody battle of courage, a beautiful collision, blah, blah, blah. Luckily for me, I can pass on all of that by sitting out. Basketball is a 5-versus-5 sport. Thanks to that, only a portion of the team plays at any one time. Still, everyone has a chance to play because players get switched out every so often. It's not my turn yet, thankfully. I'm the new guy here, so if I'm told to sit on the bench, then I won't complain. I have other business to attend to anyway. In particular with someone who's playing right now. She just stared at me for a while without saying anything. Isn't that weird? I mean, why wouldn't she say anything? Doesn't she recognize me from our encounter yesterday? Oh, I'm sure she does. I don't think anybody could forget that. Yes, it's true that our meeting was short, but I doubt she forgot about it, especially considering she saw me leave her apartment. Rather than saying anything, after staring at me, she left with the rest of her team and started chatting with them as if nothing had happened. How am I supposed to react to that? As if that weren't enough, Ziva vanished at some point, so now I can't even ask her for advice. The only thing I know for sure is that Mysterious Girl X is here, and that it isn't... The only thing I know for sure is that Mysterious Girl X is here, and that it isn't a coincidence. She has to be involved with those emails, I'm sure of it. Maybe that's why she didn't say anything. I need to be cautious. I have to gather all the info I can before I make my move so that I won't mess up. My bad, that was a foul. Your ball. Don't worry, we'll get it right back. The first impression I have of her as a player is positive. She's competitive but still accepts responsibility for her mistakes. She plays with her bang, smiles, and encourages her teammates by telling them everything will be alright. It's okay, we lost that one. Don't worry about it. Let's get those points back, alright? She's emitting courage out of every pore, or at least that's how it seems, but something's off. Her? The one playing forward? Taking advantage of the guy sitting next to me's knowledge, I ask him if he knows anything about her. Her name's Lucy, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Lucy. She's been playing for the women's basketball team for a while. Their team isn't great, but she does well. She has a ton of passion. You can't really tell how much she enjoys basketball. Of all her team, she's the one who puts in the most effort. Last time we played, she surprised us more than once. We try to go easy on their team, but hey, I don't deny that she's quite skilled. Her speed is her best asset, as you can see. I dismiss my teammate's question by saying it was just curiosity. He replies with a cackle and I choose to ignore. My head's still spinning with ideas when the coach interrupts me. Hey, new guy, do you want to join the game? His question surprises me. I try to turn it down by saying that I'll only get in the way. It's just a friendly match, so it's fine. We're winning and we need to screw things up pretty badly to lose against those girls. When I try to refute his statement, he speaks over me. I'll go with him, coach. I'll help him if he freezes up. Perfect, then it's decided. Switch. You two go in. The terrifying power of democracy has reared its ugly head and defeated me. You'll be number 11, got it? Good luck. That good luck followed by a wink makes my stomach knot up from the implication. As soon as I find out the 2-digit number, my worst fear becomes reality. My rival is none other than Lucy, previously known as Mysterious Girl X. It's the girl's turn, and I have to stay close to Lucy to block her. She's silent and never takes her eyes off me. It's quite frightening. It feels like she's looking directly into the core of my soul. Is she challenging me? Well, she better know that I'm too proud, so I'm not gonna let her get away, even for a... Is she challenging me? Well, she better know... Oh, even for a second. Crap. As soon as the whistle blows, I lose her. In the blink of an eye, she's gone, and when I finally manage to find her again, she's too far away for me to catch up. Pass. Lucy receives the ball, takes a couple of steps and gets closer to the hoop and makes an elegant mid-range shot. The ball buries itself deep in the hoop with a swish. Number 11, with an unfriendly look plastered on her face, doesn't even make eye contact as she passes me. She briefly celebrates with her team before returning to her defensive position. Don't tell me. Our attack, as with the majority until now, ends with our center making a basket after catching the rebound. It makes me return to my defensive position and I have to counter Lucy again. She keeps her back to me and puts distance between us, and then she disappears again as she spins around, leaving me behind. Lucy's team passes the ball with a bounce just as she finishes positioning herself perfectly, but just before she can make a shot, I attack her from behind by pulling on her shirt. Oh God, please don't tell me he just exposed her to the entire basketball court. Ah! She's shocked and loses her balance, dropping the ball in the process. In exchange, I get a foul and the game is paused. What's wrong with you? I shrug at her in response. Lucy reacts by giving me a weird look of disbelief. Although she's trying to hide it, I can see a small smile strewn across her face. The game eventually resumes. The women's team starts with the ball. Well, at least he didn't, pull her shirt off. That would have been so bad. The match continues like the past couple of rounds. I stick to Lucy like glue, and as soon as she runs away with the ball, I commit a foul one way or another. I repeat the process a couple more times, and she responds with even stronger defense each time. Not that it means anything, since I'm never actually trying to do anything while attacking. I don't even know how to be on the offense. The ironic part is that according to one of my teammates, my fouls are all legitimately used are legitimately used strategy in real basketball matches. If a player tries to sprint away and it seems like they'll score, committing a foul is a good way to prevent them from getting the point. It's possible that they may still score from the free throw they get after that, but there's always a chance that they'll miss. It's also useful for when you want a rival to lose their focus. We know how to play basketball. The only problem with my strategy is that after committing 5 fouls, the guilty party is kicked out of the game. But hey, it's probably for the best in my case, right? These crazy rules actually worked in my favor. Hey, you. Since someone else on her team is handling the ball, Lucy finally decides to talk to me. There's a deer right outside my window. I have something to tell you. After so long, she acknowledges me in the middle of a basketball match. It may not be the best time to do this, but if I can find out what's going on, then I can't complain. It appears that staying put has worked out well for me. Hey, I'm talking to you. Pay attention. What was it? John, why don't you, y'all come here? We got stuff to talk about. Yep. Do y'all understand? Followed by some weird hand gestures, Lucy tries to communicate with me in some odd hillbilly accent. Huh? I understood you the first time. Did you seriously believe I talked like that? But you... Ugh. The previously silent girl is surprised when she hears me speak without an odd accent. I can't help but laugh when I see her make a flustered face. I still saw you in my apartment yesterday. What were you doing there? Who are you, a stalker? I stopped laughing as soon as I recall what had transpired yesterday. What are you talking about? You're the one who asked me to come here. You sent me those emails, right? Emails? What emails? A shiver. She really didn't send them? She has to be lying, but nothing really adds up. Are you telling me it's a coincidence that you're here now after what happened yesterday? Do you really think I'm going to believe that? The women's team suddenly scores a point. Now used to be the routine, I head to the opposite end of the court as Lucy. By now, we're concerned with finishing our conversation and playing the game. I don't even like basketball. It's my first time playing. If it were up to me, I'd be doing something else right now. I came here for another reason. Then why have you been on my tail this whole time? You've been forcing fouls for a while. I can hear you breathing, you know. You're panting. No one would put so much effort into something they dislike. She's right. I'm already exhausted from training earlier, but at least I've been trying to avoid putting in too much effort. Although now I've been pretty active, and if I want to keep up with Lucy, even if I only want to commit fouls, I can't do anything if she gets too far away, and she's definitely exceptionally fast. In fact, it seems like she's never stops moving. You're one to talk. You're the one who's been running around this whole time. Lucy looks baffled and shakes her head without understanding what I meant. It's obvious, right? You're disgusted with this match, both your team and mine. Your teammates aren't putting in any effort, and mine are going easy on your team, even if the coach seems to take you ladies lightly. Even though it's a friendly match, that's no excuse. Even I've noticed how condescending my team is. It's truly disgusting. Alright, well, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this episode here before it gets too long. Things definitely seem to be progressing forward. Some of the dialogue is just way too descriptive and kind of kills the vibe for me a little. So sorry if that bothers anybody that I kind of skipped the explanation on how to play basketball. I think 95% of people know how to play basketball. But with that being said, I am interested in this story. I do want to see what happens next. So as always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe before you go so you don't miss out. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!